Oh
Yay!
my God.
Finally.
Finally,
So
I have,
exciting. So
I have,
exciting. And you know what I just realized? I'm
what?
not wearing my mindfuck shirt.
That's,
And I wear it all the time.
oh, you
I walk down
do.
our street, our little conservative, we live in Amish country here, and I walk down the street with it, and my husband's like, oh my gosh, the neighbors. I'm like, well, it's not my fault they're not reading the fine print, because the fine print would explain it all. But I love it. I'm so glad to share this space with you.
Same here, my friend. You guys, I have the beautiful light Terry with me. Thank you, Terry, for choosing to join me in this time and space. Thank you. Thank you. And she's glowing. She just came back from Mexico, guys. She is glowing. How was your time in Mexico? Tell us.
It was absolutely wonderful. I will say that it was a little bit of a clusterfuck because we just bought a condo there, and so we go down and we're expecting. I don't do anything the easy way, so let me just preface it by saying that. So we had been offered services where, here's a package, we can furnish your entire condo and we can have it set it up when you get there. No, no, no. I don't do that. I can't do that. I don't know why. But so, we go down there and trying to buy everything in a culture that we're not really familiar with and in a language that we don't really speak. It was a little bit challenging, but I tell you, one of the things that I absolutely, really the main thing that I absolutely love about Mexico is that life is slower and way more intentional there. So when someone says, how are you? ¿Cómo estás? They really want to know. Whereas here, if somebody says, how are you? It's really just, an entry point to, let me tell you what I have to say next, or let me ask you what I need from you. We don't really pause for, how are you? So I love that about the culture. And I love that it's just a little slower pace, slower and more intentional. One of the things that we learned while we were there, some of our neighbors said, and they're Canadian, and they said one of the things that they've learned since being there is that if you get one thing done in a day in Mexico, that's a good day. That's a good day.
Wow, that's
Yeah. And we're
beautiful.
here, how we scramble trying to cram so much into a day. And we take that energy down to
Yeah.
Mexico and they're like, oh, honey, calm
Honey.
down. We're not doing all that in one day.
Yeah.
We're not doing it. Simmer down. Bring it down a notch, girl. So
Oh
I
man.
love that. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to spending more time there.
Woo. Where in Mexico though? I'm curious.
Playa del Carmen. Yeah. So not quite
Ah.
the high touristy
Okay.
sort of party vibe that
Right.
Cancun has, which is wonderful for people who are in that vibe. But I'm in my mid 50s, honey. Like I'm ready to bring it down. So Playa del Carmen is a lot calmer. The energy
Okay.
is calmer, and then we live in a community that is even a few notches down from that. It really feels more like a neighborhood community.
Wow.
Yeah, we're even for Playa del Carmen, we're kind of out of the hustle and bustle. So,
Oh,
yeah, it's
that sounds
wonderful.
fucking amazing.
It
Oh,
is. It is. It's
wow.
really a dream come true. Yeah,
I'm
I love it.
so happy for you, Terry. That actually leads me to my opening question. From Terry's perspective, what does freedom mean to you?
Oh my gosh, what a wonderful opening. I just put a post out this morning about that very thing. I was just like called to it. I was looking at a picture or a video rather of my husband and I riding our bikes down to the beach when we were in Mexico. And I thought that's what freedom feels like. So what I shared this morning and what I'll share with you also is I have done a lot of big things to sort of create freedom for myself, what I thought freedom was, because for so long I felt constrained and felt tied down. And what I've come to realize is that freedom is a frame of mind. And it is what we create for ourselves, even in these little micro moments.
Mm,
So, freedom for me feels like riding my bike down to the beach. It also feels like sitting here grinding, away at work, but having the presence to lift my head, look outside, have a beautiful view outside my window, to the autumn leaves and the beauty outside, and just take a few conscious breaths. I am free to do that whenever I want to. So that's freedom to me. Freedom may be saying no to something that is really uncomfortable for me, but I know that it's not in my highest and best interest. It might be in somebody else's, but that feels like freedom. So it's these little micro moments. One of the things that I just mentioned to my sister is, before you get out and go to work in the morning, just spend 5 minutes in your car, taking a few deep breaths and presencing yourself. That's freedom. So it's these little micro moments, these little micro habits that create freedom for our emotional well-being. Right. And it reminds us that we're in charge. We're in charge of ourselves. And it doesn't have to be walking away from a corporate job, which I've done. It doesn't have to be any of these, big life-altering things. It can be just these tiny little moments where you remind yourself, I'm in charge. I'm in charge of what I think. I'm in charge of how I feel. I'm in charge of my actions. I'm in charge of my life. That knowing is what freedom feels like for me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that reminder. Thank you. Now, in that breath, I want to ask Teri, what does Teri do for fun?
Oh gosh, that's a good one. So, there are some things, that's a good question because I, for a long time, didn't know what it was. And now the most fun thing that I do is to be by myself. Honestly, I mean, reading by myself, journaling by myself. My husband and I are trying to still figure out our own spaces in our condo. And so when we're in Mexico, there are these little corners of our community that I can slip off to. But that is very, very enjoyable for me. But I also will say, I love laser tag.
Oh, you
Lovely.
do?
And
Oh,
I'm a
wow.
badass at it too. Yeah. So I haven't beat my son yet, my 20, almost 22-year-old son,
Oh,
but I'm going to someday.
he's like,
And
I'm
I
going.
also just love to ride bikes. My husband and I have manual bikes in Mexico. We have electric bikes here. I am totally
Oh,
shameless.
wow.
I am all about the electric bike. I used to run marathons and now I ride an
Oh,
electric bike. And I'm all about it. That I love that. There's something about the freedom of being on a bike and the wind rushing through my hair. The last time we were on a bike on a trail here at our home in Pennsylvania, we got called out big time by some cyclists because we weren't wearing helmets. So
oh,
I, kind of got told, which I absolutely respect that.
right.
But I love the freedom of being on a bike. And so, yeah, we do it here, we do it there. But those are two of my, if I'm not going to be by myself, riding
Right.
bikes and playing laser
Laser
tag are
tag.
just, I love board games too.
Oh, you
My son and
do?
I share that, like
Oh,
Monopoly, Yahtzee. In fact, that's one of the things that I look forward to with the holidays coming up. Nobody else looks forward to it except for my 22-year-old son. But some of these we can't just play by ourselves. We have to
yeah.
rope in other people. But yeah, that's what I do for fun.
Oh my God. I fucking love it. Laser tags, though. How long have you been playing laser tags?
Oh my gosh. I think, let's see, my son is 22, and we probably started playing when he was like around 7 or 8. He is
Oh,
so, I
wow.
don't even know how that kid is so awesome. Probably from playing like the online games,
Wow.
but I got awesome just off of myself. So, but I just love it. We would go into like these, I don't know, these big fun where they have bowling and laser tag and video games, those
Right.
big places. And we would just loop in and out of the laser tag. You know how you have like, I don't know,
Yeah.
12 minutes in there and then the lights come on and I'm like, okay, go out, get in line, do it again. So
Fuck
it's
yes.
probably been Yeah, like 15 years now.
Whoa.
I don't do it nearly as often as I would like to, but I do love it. It just brings me
Ah,
immense joy.
I can
Yeah,
tell. That's the way you're talking about it
I
and
know. Isn't
smiling.
it crazy? It's crazy. Laser tag. Yeah, I love
Oh,
it.
oh man. Awesome shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I want to ask Terry, from your perspective, what does it mean to be human without condition?
I don't think we know. I think that because as soon as we're born, it starts, the conditioning starts. And I know that we spend the vast majority of our lives, consciously or unconsciously, trying to unravel ourselves from that conditioning. And I think we do the best that we can throughout the course of our lives to unravel ourselves and to feel that sense of freedom. But I don't know too many people who have just really completely gotten there, you know? So I will say for myself, what does it feel like to be human without conditions? I don't know.
Mm.
I every day I endeavor to remove the conditioning from myself and to transcend the conditioning. But honestly, I'm not there. I think most of us aren't there. But it's it's like life work. It is life work. So, and it's beautiful life work because it brings a sense of joy when you finally realize that that conditioned belief, which I talk a lot about, and that we all have, those conditioned beliefs that lead to the outcomes in our lives, when you realize that you can untether yourself from that, that you can release that belief, and that you can be in control of new beliefs, creating new beliefs and new thoughts and new outcomes in your lives, that's such a beautiful experience. And I think having that experience and that feeling, that aha, that's what's going on. You know, that's part of what brings richness to life
Right.
is cultivating that awareness and kind of slowly ridding ourselves of these. I always, the visual always comes up for me of dragging behind the wagon of these runaway thoughts and runaway beliefs, conditioned beliefs. And when we can slowly sort of untether ourselves from that runaway wagon, then when we've completely untethered ourselves, that's what the unconditioned human looks like. And I just don't think that very, you know, there are sages, there are, but I think most of us, you know, it's a process and we don't really know, but we get little glimpses of it here and there, and that's what creates richness in life.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I do, that leads me to my next question. So Terry and Wanu is in a room right now. It's an imaginative game. Terry and Wanu is in a room, and 5-year-old Terry walks up to you. What would you tell her?
Mm, you're gonna make me cry.
That's okay.
So this is really timely because I recently did some journaling about what are the three things, not 5-year-old, but my younger self. What would I tell my younger self? And so those things would be different than if I were five. But if I walked in a room and I was talking to my 5-year-old self, I think I'd say, I have you. I love you. I'll always be with you. This chaos will serve you well eventually. You don't understand it and don't know it right now, but it won't always be like this. Life does get better. It's not always going to be this chaotic. These circumstances, this environment does not define you. You can break free from this. Yeah, and just reassuring her that I will always be here and always looking out for her and always taking care of her, and that I know it's hard. And I know that other kids don't have to go through this same thing, or it doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it, but that you're okay and you're strong, and this will serve you well in the long run. There's a reason for it. What a beautiful question.
I felt her presence. There was just beautiful jolt of energy. Immediately you started talking about her, I felt her presence, just so you know. Um, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being human. I appreciate the openness and honesty. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I needed to say that.
Yeah. Um, I do want to ask, how does compassion and kindness show up in your life every day, and how does it ripple in other people's lives around you?
Yeah, I believe that being kind is a healing balm for us as humanity and for the world. I think we underestimate tiny little acts of kindness. So it shows up for me in those tiny ways. An example would be I was walking in the park yesterday and I passed a man who had this beautiful smile on his face, and he's pushing what's very obviously a very handicapped adult family member of his.
Um,
And kindness for me was looking that person, they're in a wheelchair, and looking them directly in the eyes and smiling right back because they had this gorgeous, beautiful smile, and not shying away and not trying to avoid them, but acknowledging the presence of that beautiful human and returning their smile.
mm,
It's simple things like letting people in the traffic line,
yeah.
giving people grace. And then it's big things like kindness for me. Oftentimes, compassion shows up for me in forgiving people for things that I know are trauma informed behaviors, not holding on to it, not holding resentment. That doesn't mean that they get the same access to me, but I don't hold bitterness in my heart, that energy, and I just give them space to figure out what they need to figure out from their own conditioning and their own trauma. But I just give that space. That's an act of
Mm,
kindness for me, is just to give that space. And you know what? That shit's contagious, because your question about how does it show up around me? I
mhm,
mean, I find that when I show up in that space, when that is the energy that I'm bringing,
mhm,
everybody else, if they can't find themselves being that, consciously bringing that type of compassion, they know that the bitterness and the edginess and the judging just melts away a little bit, because that's the energy in the room.
yes.
And yeah, and I would say there are also family members. I'm thinking of one of my daughters who is deeply, deeply compassionate and sensitive,
Mhm.
and her heart always goes to the person that is hurting the most in the room, and they don't ever have to say a word. But so, yeah, I think it's kindness in the smallest of ways. It matters, it adds up.
It does. It does. Thank you. That leads me to my last question. So we all have like peak moments and valley moments in our lives. So when Tara's going through a valley moment, do you have any quotes that, allows you to keep going even when there's storm all over?
I don't have any quotes. There are certain books that I always return
Okay.
to,
Okay.
and that I just read, I just open a book that, I've read dozens of times, and there will always be something there that I need right in that moment. And it always has something to do with whatever's going on in this moment is here for your highest good. And don't get caught up in this mental game. Our brain always tries to keep us safe and small. Small is how it keeps us safe. But don't get caught up in those negative thoughts. That is our brain's natural tendency. Just be
Yeah.
aware of it. And recognizing that it always passes. It
Yes.
always passes. It's whatever it is, it's here for my highest good.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean it feels good. And that's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. You know? But if we can not judge it and not get into this shouldn't be happening to me, which
Right.
is so often how we live in this world, judging our life experiences, judging other people.
Right.
I mean, every little thing, the traffic, what people do, what people say, what our bosses do, what the government's doing, whatever it is. And as opposed to being in that judgment mode, just this is what is happening. If it's not
Yeah.
anything that I have control over, just this is what is happening,
Yeah.
and feel it and acknowledge that there is something here that I'm to learn.
Yeah.
It's happening for a reason. It's not just happening to torture me. That's just not the way the universe works. So whatever that is, and I don't have to know all the answers. I don't have to
Yeah.
know exactly what it is. I don't have to be able to write a book about it or write a blog about it. Just know. Just know that everything that's happening is for my highest good. So coming back to that, and then like I said, there are books that I read that bring me back, to that knowing, and it works every
Oh,
time.
wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Can you
I
can you
mean,
share some of the books with me, please? I'd
yeah.
love.
Well, Eric Butterworth's "Discover the Power Within"
Okay.
is a go-to for me.
Okay.
Actually, any one of Eric Butterworth's books. A book that I have been picking up often lately is Power versus Force by
Okay.
David Hawkins.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, that's just a recent one. Seat of the Soul by Gary Zukov. I love
Okay.
that one. Yeah. So, yeah, those are probably Eric Butterworth's books probably speak the loudest to me.
Right.
Yeah, I take, one of his books with me whenever I travel,
Wow.
really wherever I go. So, yeah, yeah. I mean, just as because I know I'm going to need a reminder,
Right.
you know? That's how I operate. Some people are like, oh, you don't need another book, you don't need another podcast. And while I agree with that, I also think that reminders, because we get pulled back into the world very quickly and very easily. The distractions, the negative energy, the just the energy of the world, it's moving so quickly, and you get pulled into it very easily. So having a daily practice or touchstone to come back to is really important to me. It's an
Yeah.
important part of my daily practice.
Yeah.
And so I start my day every day with a centering practice that
Mhm.
always includes reading, always,
Oh, wow.
and almost always includes journaling.
Oh, wow.
But also I do it throughout the day too, like if I need to pick up one of my books back here. In fact, yeah, here's one. Here's one of my The Universe is Calling by Eric Butterworth. That's
Ah,
one
that's
of
a
them.
good. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So, and you could see how I consume books. This
I
is how I
see that. Oh
consume
my
books.
God, girl.
Yeah, that's how I consume books.
I fucking love
I
it.
don't just read a book, I fully digest a
Wow.
book. Yeah, if it's a good book. So, if it's
Ah,
not, and I almost never read, I'm trying to get a little bit back into fiction, but I almost solely read nonfiction. So,
oh, okay.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
that's a
Oof.
beautiful question.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm sure like some people can come up with like this snappy quote, but it's much more what's the word I'm looking for? Nebulous, or it's much more varied for me. it's really more books are such. Somebody asked me one time, who is your coach? I don't really call myself a coach, but somebody asked me, who is your coach? And I said, books. Books are really my coach.
Fuck
You know, I
yes.
learned so much.
Yeah.
And so I'm just constantly consuming books
Fuck
and
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Terry, thank you so much. I really appreciate your energy. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate your space or your ripple, your light. I'm
Mm,
so honored to call you my friend. I'm so honored to be connected with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being such a beautiful mirror in my life. I truly, truly, truly appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
mm.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And for every beautiful human listening to this, when it gets dark, when it gets confusing, come back to compassion and kindness for yourself.
Thank you.